these whales are extremely powerful. Then here comes the third kick. You see the barnacles along the edge of the fluke. And from the second one that's closer to us, you can actually see that whale close its mouth before it pops up to take a breath. And there you can see the tentacles on this whale who is doing what we call dragging. Pushing that water, you can see it streaming right out of its mouth, using its flippers sort of for stability when they're out on either side like that. Those flippers can be about 15 feet long for adult humpbacks, which can be a third of the length of their body. Each of those flippers weighs about 1,000 pounds apiece. There's a great look again at those blowholes. You see that shape of the dorsal fin, and we've had a number of humpbacks, and they all have slightly different shapes, some of them more rounded, some of them more pointy. But in front of the fin, you'll only see further to the head of this one. Just a bit now on the other side of that recreational boat. So you can actually see the tail slap down below the surface too. This whale has a lot of white. And there, if you could actually see it turn and go upside down slightly, that's the filtering device for this animal. So other humpback up ahead of us, big lift of the tail, mostly black on that one. And you can see this whale doing its dragging thing, which is pushing all of the water back out of its mouth. You saw the flippers go out to either side. And here's a nice big tail shot from our feed. Here we go, the whale is up. Apparently it won't feed that time.
I see it,
so you see the few different, and there's another lift up of that tail stop with the little slat behind it. So it appears as though this whale is going to try to feed right here at about 1 o'clock. So there's two humpbacks now traveling down our right-hand side, so I guess it decided not to feed again, or if it did, that's a different whale. So we have the two whales here, we're traveling towards our 4 o'clock, and then the other one up at about 1 o'clock. So we've had a bunch of different whales that are kind of all in the same general area. You'll notice for the most part, they're not really traveling together, per se. And there's another humpback coming in right behind this whale, who is trying to feed, apparently, out at 1 o'clock. And stuff keeps happening to sort of interrupt that whale. So we'll see if it will go through with it this time, but there's a big lift up of that tail stop with a little slap behind it. And there is the big open mouth. There's the second whale just to the side of it. So you see a lot of cool things about humpback whales when you get to see them this close, and especially when they're doing feeding behaviors like this. And now this whale is doing what we call dragging again, where it's actually pushing the water out of its mouth as it swims. The second whale is coming back with it as well. You see a lot of white rings on the underside there. Those are barnacle scars. And there is another sort of realign of the jaw. And all that brown stuff in the top with the balines. We have another whale coming back towards us. And this whale leaves to the right actually looks out into the water. And you see all of these little things that look like raindrops on the surface, all those little browny streaks.
Watch here.
Those are all salmon. Those are all the fish that these whales are looking to eat. And the birds too, of course. But the whales are very happy when the sand lance falls up, and we are also very happy when the sand lance falls up like this. And it usually means that whale is just upside down. So keep your eye on that one. Looks like that probably just trying to hang tight on one side. That is a huge mouth, and that is what we call cooperative feeding, when you have more than one whale that pops up in one bubble net. And that whale's mouth was open so wide that you could actually see that pink strip on the top. That's the palate. It's not the tongue. The tongue is below all of that water. So now that whale is dragging again. You can see the stripes on the underside of the chin. Those are the vorpals. Those are the pleats that push out when the whale takes in that huge mouthful like it has been doing for us. Right now you get to see the between 1 and 2, and again another big mouth so that you can actually see the palate. That's that pink strip on the top. There's a great look at the baleen. These whales have usually somewhere around 300 to 400 plates of baleen. on each side, and you'll notice it only hangs from the upper jaw, and that's its filtering device. It's actually made of the protein keratin, which is the same protein that makes up our own hair and fingernails. And so the inner part, the part that's closer to the tongue, looks as though it's going to start feeding again, pretty close to where it just fed. So right out around 3 o'clock, just ahead of our wash here. So again, big lift of that tailstock, little slap of the tail. That's the second kick. This whale's been doing 3 before it blows its snap. Another big, there's a fourth one. Open out. So again, that laughing bell was kind of mad apparently. Another big lift of that tail. Of the snout or the top of the head there for the whale. In toothed whales, it's only one blowhole, so it's another really easy way to tell what the whale has in its mouth, teeth or baleen, just by counting how many blowholes it has visibly. You also notice that there's a little raised part in front of the blowholes, and that's called their splash guard. The one of those was out at about 11 o'clock. Remember, there were a couple more that were kind of milling around out off our right-hand side as we move in here. Beautiful day out here. You can see for quite a distance. It's really nice when it's flat tongue. It makes things so much easier to see. And again, this is a new humpback for us up here at 11 that just fed. And there's another one right up close to us here up our left. Traveling right up alongside us here. The whale right next to you. And again, if you're up closer to the front, there's a new one coming up right about 1 o'clock with the elder birds moving over in that direction. And you want to watch for a whale to pop up in the middle of that. And that whale up ahead again is still dragging after it has just fed.
Watch this guy. Oh, he's right there.
And a bubble's out behind us, stabilizing the whale as it's pushing out its water. Those of you up towards the bow. That whale who just fed just went down, and there's another one even behind it, on at about 12:30. Lift that baleen hanging from that whale's mouth, and had one just up about 1 o'clock as well. And yes, sometimes the birds do land on the whale's head while they drag, looking for anything to pop out of their mouth. A beautiful tail shot. Alright, and then one at 1 o'clock. Again, follow those flippers underwater. It's really easy to track where these birds are going. Alright, so one of them up heading towards about 2 o'clock. This one here, a little closer to us at 1, is kind of slowed down a little, and that looks like a good kick. So it appears as though we're going to have some feeding here real close to our bow, and another whale in between this one here and the other one. So we'll see. There's another big tail shot there, and that one just went down in front of that third whale. That whale did just feed it just below the surface. Low profile tail shot from the humpback. And another one. And another minke whale right next to us here, kind of swimming on its side a little bit. That was a little bit of the edge of its tail. Right between the mouth from our whale here, just out at about 10 o'clock. Again, you can see all those tubercles, those are those black bumps on the top of the head and even along the top edge of the bottom jaw. And this is dragging, letting all that water out that it just took into its mouth with the fish. Whales don't want to swallow the water. This is salt water, and if they were to swallow a lot of it, it would dehydrate them. So they're able to get all the fresh water that they need in their diet just from the fish that they eat. They're able to metabolize it. So another important reason why they need to eat as much as they possibly can every day. It's huge open mouth from the one on the right in particular, but a great look. The baleen from both of these whales. So again, they do sometimes cooperatively feed. One blows the net and they somehow communicate with one another for who pops up when. There's another humpback out between 4 and 5 o'clock, for those of you a little bit closer towards the stern. Whale out at 11 o'clock. So sort of lower profile, very streamlined, lighter gray. And the whale that was just up with the curved dorsal fin looks very much like a stretched out minke whale in terms